Hello and welcome to the Easy English Podcast. I'm James.
And I'm Anna. We're so glad you've decided to learn with us today. Have you ever been in a simple situation, like ordering a coffee or talking to a colleague, and suddenly felt stuck? You know the words, but the natural English phrase just doesn't come to mind?
That feeling is so common. It's the gap between textbook English and the living, breathing language people actually use. And that's exactly what we're going to bridge for you today.
Absolutely. In this episode, we're giving you a toolbox. Inside, you'll find 70 essential, natural English sentences that native speakers use every single day. We won't just list them, we'll bring them to life.
That's right. We'll place you in real scenes, meeting a friend on the street, navigating a shop, enjoying a meal, handling a work call. You will hear the phrase, understand the nuance behind it, and see exactly where it fits. Consider this your personal audio guide to sounding more confident and connected.
And a quick tip before we start, if you find a phrase you love, don't just listen, repeat it out loud. It's the best way to make it yours. Are you ready, James?
I'm ready! Let's kick things off where most conversations begin, with greetings and social openers. This is where you make that crucial first impression.
Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine you're walking through an airport in another country, and suddenly, you see Mark, an old friend from university you haven't seen in years. You're both shocked. What's a natural, friendly thing to say?
You might smile and say, "Small world, isn't it?" It's a warm, classic English expression for this exact moment of happy coincidence. It's like saying, "It's surprising we ran into each other here, of all places."
I love that one. It immediately creates a shared moment. Now, once you've got over the surprise, you want to catch up. Instead of a simple "how are you," you can ask something more engaging.
Right. Try asking, "What have you been up to lately?" This is so much warmer. It means what's new in your life, and it genuinely invites the other person to share stories and updates. It's perfect for someone you haven't seen in weeks or months.
And to acknowledge that it's been a long time, you can add with a friendly smile, "It's been ages." This phrase is full of nostalgia. It means we haven't seen each other in a very long time, and it shows you're genuinely pleased to reconnect.
Now, when you see your friend Mark after all this time, you might notice he looks good. Instead of a comment on his clothes, a really safe and polite compliment is, "You're looking well." It means you look healthy and happy, and it feels more mature than "you look great."
That's a lovely one. It focuses on their well-being. Now, let's say the conversation continues and you want to show interest in their life, especially in a semi-professional context. You could ask, "How's everything on your end?"
Yes, that's perfect. It means how are things in your life or work these days? You will hear this a lot in emails or calls with colleagues. It keeps things warm but respectful.
So, Mark might respond to that. If things are just fine, he might not want to go into detail. A very common, low-key response is, "Can't complain, really." It's a humble way to say, "I'm doing fine, nothing bad to report." It implies life is stable.
Exactly. Or, if his life has been very routine, he might say with a sigh or a smile, "Same old, same old." This is probably one of the most common phrases in English. It means nothing new is happening, things are as usual. It's the classic answer to what's new.
And if you want to ask about his life without being too invasive, a great casual question is, "Been keeping busy?" It's a polite way to ask if he's had a lot going on. It's perfect for coworkers or acquaintances.
Now, imagine your conversation with Mark is coming to a close. It was really nice to see him. As you're about to leave, you can say, "Nice catching up." This is a warm, appreciative way to end the chat. It signals you truly enjoyed reconnecting.
And finally, to leave the door open for future contact without any pressure, you can finish with, "Drop me a message sometime." This is so casual and friendly. It means feel free to text or call me, and it puts the ball in their court. It's a perfect, low-pressure way to end a spontaneous meetup.
Fantastic! So we've navigated a surprise reunion. But what about a more planned interaction? Let's change the scene completely. Imagine you're in a bustling shopping mall, looking for a new pair of headphones. This is where our next set of sentences comes in handy.
Boo! Shopping! Okay, so you're in an electronics store, and you're looking at two different models. You want to know more about one of them. Instead of just pointing, what do you say to the sales assistant to sound polite and engaged?
That's a great question, Anna. In that situation, you'd want to sound curious, not demanding. So, you could catch the assistant's attention and ask, "Could you tell me more about this one?" It's a polite and specific way to ask for details. It shows you're genuinely interested and opens the door for a helpful conversation.
Perfect. And let's say the assistant explains the features, and you're interested. A really smart follow-up question, especially for electronics or appliances, is there a warranty included? This means, does this come with a guarantee in case it breaks? It's an essential question that shows you're a thoughtful buyer.
Absolutely. It's about protecting your purchase. Now, maybe you like the headphones, but the price is a little high. Instead of just saying it's expensive, you can ask tactfully, "Do you offer any discounts? Or is this on sale?" It's a direct but perfectly acceptable way to ask about a lower price.
And if the price is still too high, it's okay to walk away gracefully. You can simply say, "That's a bit outside my budget." This is a much softer and more polite way to say, "I can't afford this." It doesn't close the door. Sometimes the seller might even offer you a better deal.
Or, if you need more time to think, a very useful phrase is "let me think about it." This buys you time and is a polite way to say you're not ready to decide. It avoids any pressure.
And as you're leaving, to be extra polite, you can say, "I'll come back for it later." It's a friendly way to exit the situation, whether you plan to return or not.
Now, let's change departments. Imagine you're in a clothing store and you see a shirt you like, but you're not sure about the color. What could you ask?
Easy. You can hold it up and ask the assistant, "Do you have this in a different color?" Maybe they have it in blue, which you prefer. It's a simple, effective question for clothes, shoes, or even things like phone cases.
And if you find a color you like, the next step is to see if it fits. You'd need to find the fitting room. So you'd ask, "Can I try this on?" This is the standard, essential phrase for asking to wear clothes to check the size.
Before you even head to the fitting room, especially if you're unsure about the size, it's really responsible to ask, "Can I return this if it doesn't fit?" This clarifies the shop's return policy and saves you potential trouble later.
And finally, if you try it on and it's just not right, you can hand it back to the assistant and say, "I think I'll leave it. Thanks." This is a short, polite, and graceful way to say you've decided not to buy it. It ends the interaction on a positive note.
Wonderful. So we've navigated a shopping trip. But all that shopping can make you hungry, right? Let's move our conversation to a cafe or a restaurant.
I'm starving. So, let's walk into a nice restaurant. The host greets you, and if you have a preference for where to sit, you can ask politely. For example, if you'd like a nice view, you can say, "Could we get a table by the window, if possible?" Using "if possible" makes it sound very considerate, not demanding. I love that. It sets a positive tone right away. Once you're seated and have looked at the menu, the server comes to take your order. The most natural way to order is to say, "I'll have the grilled salmon, please." You can substitute grilled salmon with anything, the pasta, the chicken curry. It's the standard, confident way to order.
But what if you and I are still deciding, James? The server is waiting, but we need more time. Instead of feeling rushed, we can smile and say, "Would you mind giving us a few more minutes?" It's a gentle and perfect way to ask them to come back later.
Exactly. No pressure. Now, let's say we've enjoyed our meal, but we couldn't finish this huge dessert. Instead of leaving it, we can ask, "Could we get this to go?" This is the essential phrase for asking for a doggy bag or takeaway container.
Very practical. But sometimes, mistakes happen. Imagine your food arrives, and it's not what you thought you ordered. You need to point it out respectfully. You can say, "Excuse me, I think this isn't what I ordered." It's clear, calm, and allows them to fix the mistake without feeling attacked.
That's a really important one to handle gracefully. Another thing that can be confusing, especially when traveling, is the bill. In many countries, the tip isn't always separate. So it's smart to ask, "Is service included?" This means, does the bill already include the tip? It helps you avoid double tipping or not tipping by accident.
Great point. Now, for a more complete dining experience, you might want a drink. You could ask, "Could I see the wine list, please?" It's a simple, formal way to ask for the menu of wines.
And for our listeners with dietary needs, this next phrase is crucial. If you have an allergy, you must always ask. For example, "I have a food allergy. Does this contain nuts?" You can replace nuts with dairy, gluten, or shellfish. Restaurants take this very seriously.
Your health comes first. Now, let's end on a positive note. If the meal was wonderful, it's lovely to tell the server as you leave, "Everything was fantastic. Thank you." It's a warm, appreciative comment that makes everyone feel good.
And finally, if you're out with friends and want to pay separately, the phrase you need is, "Can we get separate checks?" It's very common and saves a lot of confusion at the end of the meal.
Well, that was a delicious segment. But now it's time to go to work. Let's move from the restaurant to the office.
Okay, time to get serious. We've left the restaurant and we're back in the office. Whether you're in a meeting or just chatting with a colleague, there are some key phrases that will make you sound professional and collaborative.
Let's start with coordination. Imagine you're finishing a quick talk with me about a project, James. We need to follow up. Instead of saying, "Let's talk later," a much more professional phrase is, "Let's touch base later this week." It's casual but professional, and it basically means let's have a quick check-in soon.
Perfect. Now, during a meeting, if someone says something you don't fully understand, it's so important to ask for clarification. Instead of staying quiet, you can say, "Could you clarify what you meant by that?" This shows you're engaged and ensures everyone is on the same page.
And to avoid misunderstandings, especially about times, confirmation is key. A very common and useful phrase is, "Just to double check, we're meeting at 2, right?" You can use this for meetings, calls, or any appointment. It shows you're organized.
But what if you realize you can't make that meeting? You need to cancel professionally. A good way is, "I'm afraid I won't be able to make it." This sounds formal but also shows a bit of regret. It's much better than just saying "I can't come."
And if you need to propose a new time, you follow up with, "Would it be possible to reschedule?" This is a respectful and polite way to ask for a new meeting time.
Now, let's talk about communication. If you're on an email thread and need to add a colleague to keep them informed, you'd say, "Let me loop you in on this email." It's a very common phrase meaning I'm adding you to the conversation.
In meetings, when a colleague shares a great idea, it's good to acknowledge it. You could say, "That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it that way." This shows you're open-minded and value their input.
Conversely, if a discussion is going off topic, you might want to pause it. A professional way to do that is, "Let's table that for now." This means let's pause this topic and possibly return to it later.
And if a new task comes up and you're happy to lead it, show initiative by saying, "I'm happy to take the lead on this." This positions you as proactive and reliable.
Finally, if you're asked a question you can't answer immediately, never guess. Instead, say, "Let me get back to you on that." It's a professional way to say, "I need to find out and I'll tell you later."
Excellent. All these phrases make the workday smoother. But you know what comes after work? Social plans. Let's get out of the office and talk about making arrangements with friends. So, the workday is over, and it's time to have some fun. Making plans with friends is a huge part of everyday life, and doing it smoothly in English can really help you build stronger connections.
It absolutely does. So, let's start from the beginning. How do you even start? A simple and friendly way is to text a friend, "Are you free this weekend?" It's an open-ended question that gives them an easy way to say yes, no, or suggest another time.
And if you want to suggest a specific, casual activity, the most classic phrase is, "Do you want to grab a coffee sometime?" This is the go-to invitation in English-speaking cultures. It's low pressure, friendly, and perfect for reconnecting.
Now, when someone asks you, you might not be ready to commit. Instead of a vague maybe, a much better response is, "Let me check my calendar." It sounds organized and polite, and it gives you time to think.
But what if you really can't make it? You don't want to say a flat no. A gentle and very common way to decline is, "I might have to take a rain check." This means I can't this time, but I'd like to do it another time. It keeps the door open.
I use that one all the time. Now, sometimes plans are uncertain. Instead of setting a firm date, you can keep things flexible by saying, "Let's play it by ear." This means let's decide later based on how things are going. It's perfect for when the weather is bad or schedules are hectic.
And when a plan is suggested and you like it, the easiest way to show agreement is, "Sounds good to me." It's casual, enthusiastic, and very natural.
But we all have those days when we just don't have the energy. Instead of canceling with a lame excuse, you can be honestly respectful by saying, "I'm not really feeling up to it today." It's a soft way to say you don't have the mental or physical energy, and true friends will understand.
That's so important for looking after your well-being. Now, if you need to change the time of a plan, you can ask, "Could we push it back a bit?" This means, "Can we make it a little later?" It's polite and shows you still want to meet, just a bit later.
And finally, when you want to make a plan but it's not 100% confirmed, you use this classic phrase, "Let's pencil it in." It means let's tentatively plan for it, knowing we might need to confirm later. It's a very useful phrase for busy lives.
And with that, James, we've covered all our key situations. We've given our listeners a powerful toolkit of phrases for greetings, shopping, dining, work, and social life.
We sure have. But before we finish, let's take a moment to talk about how to truly make these phrases stick. Because listening is one thing, but making them part of your active vocabulary is another. So, Anna, we've given them a lot of phrases today. But how can our listeners move from just understanding them to actually using them confidently?
That's the most important step, James. It's all about active practice, not passive listening. Here's what I suggest: don't try to memorize all 70 phrases at once. That's overwhelming.
Exactly. Pick just 2 or 3 phrases from today's episode that you really liked. Maybe one for greetings and one for shopping. Write them down. Say them out loud right now, even if you're just listening by yourself. Hearing your own voice use the language is powerful.
Yes! And then, create a little mental movie. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in one of the scenes we talked about. Maybe you're in a cafe, or you're bumping into a colleague. In your mind, hear yourself saying your chosen phrase clearly and confidently.
That's a fantastic technique. It prepares your brain for the real situation. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. If you forget a word, it's okay. The most important thing is the attempt, the willingness to communicate.
Absolutely. And remember, language is alive. It's about connection. Every time you use one of these phrases, you're not just speaking English, you're building a bridge to another person. That's something to be proud of, no matter how small the interaction feels.
Well said, Anna. We truly believe that with these tools and a little bit of consistent, brave practice, you will be amazed at how much more confident and connected you'll feel in your English conversations.
We're so happy we could share this journey with you today. But before we go, we have one very important final request for you, our amazing listener.
If this episode made you feel more confident about your English, we would be incredibly grateful if you could take these 3 simple actions to support our podcast and continue your learning journey with us.
First, please subscribe to the Easy English podcast if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll never miss a new episode, and you'll get more tools to build your confidence every week.
Second, if you found this useful, please leave us a rating and a review. It takes less than a minute, but it helps other learners like you to find our community and tells us what kind of content you find most helpful.
And finally, our favorite part, practice what you learned today in the comments. Here's your mission: write a short sentence using one of the phrases from this episode. It could be "let's touch base later this week," or "I'll have the grilled salmon, please," or any other phrase you liked.
Seeing you use the language is the best reward for us. We read every single comment, and it's amazing to see our community learn and grow together. Your sentence is a powerful step from passive listening to active use.
Remember, we're here on this journey with you. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Be proud of every single step you take.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Easy English Podcast. Bye for now!